Hello team, how's it going? Welcome back to a new video where we've got something new for you. We are looking at the Singapore Armed Forces. This is guys attempting Special Operations Task Force selection. It's episode 1. Hopefully we don't get any sort of copyright issues with this video, but hopefully you enjoyed this. This was sent to me by one of you, a supporter and a viewer, so thank you for sending this across. Hopefully it's going to be a good series to watch and hopefully you're all going to enjoy it. As always, please go and check out the original video in the description. Go and give them a like, share, follow, subscribe to their channel, and if you could do the same for us, I would hugely appreciate it. But let's get into the video. Make sure you head over as well to combatreadyhq.co.uk as well to check out our merch, some of our coffee blends, and yeah, thanks for all the support. Let's go.
These highly trained men have special skill sets that only a handful will acquire in their lifetime. With a high sense of purpose and mission focus, the Singapore Armed Forces Special Operations Task Force, or SOTF, has always been an intriguing unit. Their modus operandi is characterized by stealth, speed, and agility. They're like modern-day ninjas with high-tech gadgets to aid them in today's complex battlefields.
The Special Operations Task Force is the unit that undertakes a wide spectrum of special operations, including counter-terrorism, and they keep their edge sharp by national counter-terrorism exercises. And these exercises keep SOTF and its operators at the sharpest end of their capabilities. It ensures that they are ready for any operations if the button is pressed.
For the first time, our cameras were allowed beyond these walls to see firsthand what it takes to be a cut above the rest. We follow these men as they embark on their journey of self-discovery and what it takes to be selected for the Special Forces qualification course, and ultimately enter the hallowed ranks of the SOTF, an honor only a few will experience. It's a dreary early morning as soldiers, about 120 of them, arrive at Pasir Ris Camp, home of the Commando Training Institute.
Every military has a commando unit. It really sort of lets people know that they are that extra bit, a little bit better. That sort of tier 1, tier 2 level. We've got the Royal Marine Commandos who are just that little bit above your standard sort of infantry. So many other units have commandos as well. Indian have got a lot of commandos. It's a very popular sort of name, and when you hear the word commando, you know that they're going to be highly professional, highly skilled soldiers.
What you're about to see over the next few days is just a small foot in the door to continue their journey in the Special Forces qualification course and become an SOTF trooper. And it all starts here at the Special Forces Leadership School.
Joint Special Forces selection program is tough. Realistically, some candidates will not make the cut. It's physically and mentally demanding. You must be ready to adapt to situations, situation awareness, and you must be flexible, and you must be able to make decisions under stress.
That's pretty standard for most sort of special operations units. You need to be disciplined, you need to be able to take orders, you need to be able to handle yourself and cope in very high stressful, high pressure situations. You know, that's across the board. If you struggle in them, then special operations most probably isn't for you, or like an elite unit. If you feel like you can handle high pressure situations, you can work in small teams, you can work on your own in those situations, you can deal with it, then yeah, definitely think about special operations.
The first day, so I'm actually a little bit nervous. I'm not sure what to expect because I'm not here before. I feel it's a very privileged course. It's not something that everyone can do. Being in the naval diving unit, we feel that it is in our nature to try to push ourselves to the boundary, to the limit. That is why we want to break our own limits, and hopefully I can pass the selection.
I love that badge as well. Look at that Commando Training Institute for honour and glory. Like it.
I don't expect it to be easy, but I know that putting in the effort and with the right determination and the right mindset, I'll be able to make it through with the rest of the people who are here with me.
Alpha 05, step up. Give me the head count. Candidates, steady, yep. Kedalu, terus. Pandang ke depan, dan.
You do drill very similar to the UK.
They get a small dose of the high expectations that need to be met.
Alpha 05, you make sure they fall in properly before you give me the head count. Clear? Clear?
And a hint of what's to come.
Bunch of are you fit? You will now touch and go back to your bag. Clear? Yes, sir.
Sharp, sharp, sharp. When I say buttocks up, you echo after me. Buttocks up.
For the next 2 weeks, this will be home and testing ground for these SOTF hopefuls.
The unique thing about this selection is that the minute you step into the gates, the minute I start the selection, you are all the same. You all will be called candidates.
As candidates, they're all equal despite their ranks and backgrounds, and they will be so until they've earned their right to enter the ranks of the special unit.
That's what's brilliant as well about these sorts of courses is you are just equal. You all go there. You bring different things to the table, which is brilliant. Different skill sets, different experience. You can input when it comes to orders, when you deploy on sort of exercises, ops, and carry out a mission on this selection. But you are all the same. They generally look at the same. You could be a sergeant major or a private, and you can go there and they won't look at you any different. They won't go, look, he's a junior rank, he's a senior rank, we'll give him leeway, or we'll give him leeway. It's no, across the board, you meet the standard across the board. You're all just one number, one rank. There's no favoritism. There's no, you're going to do this because you're this rank. You all have to be able to do it.
Most are from the 1st Commando
I love these
Battalion
badges.
in the Republic of Singapore Navy's Naval Diving Unit, both elite units in their own right. And then the others from the infantry, artillery, and even the supply and transport formation to prove that they're equally fit and mentally resilient to pursue the arduous tests and ace them.
Got 20 seconds. Fly to the wall, let's go. Fly to the wall, fly to the wall.
For me, I believe that I don't matter from which unit, I believe that I can do it. And also, I have to physically and mentally prepare also. It's like my achievement if I done it.
The Joint Special Forces selection may be a short 2-week process, but for the candidates, it will be much more than that.
It's not very long, is it? 2 weeks.
Squad position ready? Ready. Go.
Just a few hours into the first day of selection, the men prepare for their first test, the standard obstacle course. But for these candidates, it's anything but standard.
Pretty standard obstacle course. We've been through it throughout PMT. However, this case is slightly different. We've been through a few build-up exercises back to back. There's no period to rest in between.
Everyone have the reasons to come here. My reason is to push myself and see how far I can go.
This course would actually mean to be the better soldier, a better version of any soldier. Knowing that my conscience is clear that I've trained hard for this course, that is enough.
Over the next 14 days, these men of different ranks and backgrounds will find out who they really are and what they're made of, if they have what it takes to be part of this elite unit.
I think at the end of 2 weeks, the biggest lesson they take back is about themselves and their mental resilience and their physical toughness.
And the instructors will try all means to break them.
Anybody wants to DOR?
To sift out the best of the best from the rest.
Yeah, 2 weeks isn't very long. Is that sort of the selection to then go on to the main course, or is it just 2 weeks? I'm guessing it's got to be selection of 2 weeks to then go on to the main course, because then you've got to learn all the skills and drills. You know, maybe possibly different weapon systems, different tactics, different bits of equipment. So is it 2 weeks selection to then go on to the next phase where you'd actually do the actual proper course? So I have to sort of look into that for the next episode. But really great production, really well done. And this is why a lot of people do it. You heard them, is why you go in special operations. I want to see how far I can push myself. I want to work with the best. I want to be the best. And you need that mindset. You need to be able to work in the team, but you need that mindset of, I am good enough. I want to work with the best. I want to be the best. And I want to physically and mentally push myself as far as I can go to see where I can go. Because these guys are the best. If you go into any unit around the world and they're a tier 1, tier 2 sort of special operations unit, you're working the best of that country. Sometimes one might slip through the net here and there, but ultimately they are the best. They do the basics well. That's what they do. They're really good at the basics, and then they work on that and learn these new skills. They're mentally resilient. They're physically tough, and that's why a lot of these guys go there, is because they want to physically push themselves, and they want to work with the best. So if you're joining the military and you are quite physically fit, you think you're quite mentally resilient, you like high pressure sort of situations, you deal well with them, and you love soldiering, you want to shoot things, blow things up, then just go and give special operations a go. Go and do special forces. I regret not even attempting it. It's my fault, whatever. But if you generally do it, just attempt it. You fail, but you don't know until you actually try. And that's the biggest thing I took away from my career. You don't know till you try, so just go for it. But I'm looking forward to see where this goes, and what happens over the next 2 weeks, to learn a little bit more about it and a little bit more about the Singapore Armed Forces. I have done another series. I've started another series, but it's only available on Patreon. So if you want to watch that about the Singapore Armed Forces, then go and head over to Patreon. It's about £1.50, $2 per month, to get early access to videos, ad-free content, and you get some exclusive content over there as well. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. The second episode of the Singapore Special Operations Task Force Selection. Uncommon grit. What does it take to break? As always, you can check out the original video in the description. If you could, please go and give them a like, share and subscribe to the channel. And if you could do the same to Combat Ready HQ, I would hugely appreciate it. You can go and check out as well our coffee and some of our merch over on our website at www.combatreadyhq.co.uk, and check out the best supplements on the market, 100% military safe, over at Combat Fuel. But let's get into the video. Please comment below with what your thoughts are and what you want to see next.
For 2 weeks, these men are putting themselves through one of the toughest selections in the Singapore Armed Forces, the Joint Special Forces Selection. It gives them a small foot in the door to continue their journey in the Special Forces qualification course before they become a Special Operations Task Force or SOTF trooper.
To be part of this unit, it means that you are part of something bigger than yourself, and you are protecting Singaporeans in many aspects of their lives, and it's something that everyone in the unit holds dearly and trains very hard for.
But not everyone will survive this regime that will push their physical and mental endurance to the limit. Only a handful will make it at the end of the 14 days. Before the next evolution or test, the instructors give these soldiers a taste of what it's like to be part of the special unit.
The intensity hit us a lot harder. The evolutions are much more back-to-back. We're being faced with a lot more physical challenge before and after each evolution. It really pushes us much further.
I've definitely been woken up a few times like that in the military, out of the nowhere, pitch black. I've had like a Pratt grenade thrown in the room to get you up, and obviously they want to put them under physical and mental pressure at all times, so you never know what's coming. So they wake you up when you're sleeping, when it's unexpected, and then straight into some physical activity, so you're already tired, and then you're going to go out and you're going to have to carry out some tests, some march or something. So they always pre-work you, pre-fatigue you before you go and do something. They don't really want you doing anything too fresh, because they want to see how you react when you're tired and fatigued.
We don't know what time it is throughout the day. We just have to rely on being adaptable, being able to react quickly to new challenges.
Exactly, they need someone that's adaptable.
Your LBV, 12 dummy magazine. Any questions? 3 minutes starts now, move. You have 1 minute, guys. Anyone?
the turnout, when the instructors are hammering you, you just think of, why am I doing this? I want to give up all this. So I think it's not just good enough to be fit, but you need to be good enough in your mindset as well.
2 rights.
Take your temperature. Once you're done, stand up.
I wonder why they're taking their temperature.
Back hammering, as the candidates call it, are punctuated with safety measures to ensure no one falls behind.
That's pretty good, because what we normally get is someone just passes out and then they give them first aid. So they're obviously pushing them to a point and then they're testing them so they don't get to that.
Safety is the priority. We have more than enough instructors to actually look after the trainees. At any point of time, we just filter out those that might get injured.
3 minutes, long 4, boots, your LBV, 12 dummy magazine, your number tag, 2 field water bottle. 2 minutes starts now, move. Get out!
So what they've got here, they've got a lot of sound going on in the background, okay, to obviously distract you, put you under pressure, and it's sort of a bit of a hindrance, isn't it? You're like, it makes you react a little bit more because you're trying to do something, but the sound makes you feel like the situation's a lot more serious than what it is. Like as if you was in a battlefield.
With all the physical exhaustion, the candidates now have to put mind over body to get through the next stage, one of the key tests in the selection. This is the load-bearing vest or LBV run, but with a twist.
In your current attire, with 12 dummy magazine and 2 full water bottle, you are to do your best for this evolution, understand?
Yes, sir.
The objective is to complete the run within a short stipulated time. It mimics combat conditions an SOTF trooper has to go through, including equipment and load they have to carry over long distances. There is no time to stop or slow down.
1, go.
I wonder what's the distance of this and the time.
This particular evolution was quite heavy on all of us after a long day. Very tempting to stop, take a break, but it's very important to maintain the timing that you have.
The attribute and fitness, they can always take time to train. You are actually looking for resilience and the positive attitude in them so that they can actually move on further. This is just the door they are walking through. Whenever I have this kind of thoughts of giving up, I'll think of my family and my friends, their encouragement and their expectation of me. I'm sure they wouldn't want me to give up and they want me to see this through. With that, I feel I can carry on.
Is that like a little number they're giving them at the end so they know where they've come?
For all its intent and purpose, the rigorous tests are not distracting the men from their resolve or reasons to be here.
I want to be here. I feel it's very privileged to be here, to learn all the stuff that not ordinary people can do.
I know that each day will come to an end at some point. Each of the evolutions will eventually come to an end. We formed a strong brotherhood already within a week's time, and I can only foresee that we'll get closer this week.
But for a few, the tough first week of selection has already taken a toll on them. They don't make the cut.
No messing around. They get rid of you, aren't good enough.
Has a passion, has a desire to prove themselves their worth. Here, you get to do something different, get to do something cooler. So I think everyone wants to do that.
But for these men, failure has only made them stronger to try out the selection again. And another chance to prove themselves.
I was pulled out for the cause because I feel one of the best. I'll definitely come back. I'll work stronger, adapt to things fast, watch and learn fast.
I gauge where my fitness, where my strength is. Next time I can train harder and stronger to come back for the next selection.
Always a shame when someone doesn't make it, but in these sorts of scenarios, these units, they don't mess around. There's no You nearly made it. Let's see how he does. You make the cut or you don't, otherwise you're gone. Whether that's physical tests, whether that's just your mental attitude, how you handle a weapon system, how you conduct yourself personally, your discipline, your integrity, a whole host of it. It's not just like attending a regular course in the army where it's pretty much a pass. You get the odd person that fails, or they give you another chance if you fail a test. You fail, you're gone. And that's what these guys are like. And they're trying to put them under constant pressure, okay? As the guy says, you need to be adaptable. You need to be able to adapt to any situation, because the operations you're going on, anything could happen at any time, and you don't really have the same support as sort of a regular army. There's no sort of backup just behind you. You're in somewhere, in a country somewhere, doing an op completely on your own in a small team. So support is very limited. So whatever the situation is, whatever kit you have, you need to be adaptable to that, and you need to be the thinking soldiers. You hear people like Ant Middleton say a lot, the thinking soldier, the guy who can do the whole job up and down the ranks on his own or in a small team. They aren't relying on that sergeant all the time. When these guys plan an op, they plan an op together, and every idea from every person is taken and thought of. And that's what they want, and then they put them under constant stress and pressure to see if they have that ability. So these guys don't know what the time of day it is. They just get woken up whenever. They get woken up sort of in stressful ways. It's not just a knock on the door, hi, time to get up. It's in loud noises, bangs going off, giving them minimal time that they know they can't achieve. Right, you've got 1 minute to get ready. You know you can't get ready in 1 minute, but they still give you that just to see how you react. So I like this episode. I love how the Singapore Armed Forces are conducting this. And these guys, what I really like is, because these are the best of the best, you get the best people trying out for them, and they all want to be the best. They want to be cool. We know that SF is cool. It's Ali, and these guys want to be that. And they have that mental attitude. Like they said, they want to be there. When they're doing something really tough and it gets hard, they don't just drop out. They remind themselves of why they're there. And that's what you should do when you're doing everything. But hopefully you're enjoying this series. I really am. Moving on to episode 3 next. Thanks for watching. Singapore Special Operations Task Force Selection, Episode 3, Uncommon Grit, Into the Deep. As always, check out the original video in the description. Go and give them a like, share, follow. And if you could do the same for us, I'd hugely appreciate it. And you can check out all our merch and our coffee over on our website, and check out the best supplements on the market over at Combat Fuel. And please, if you could, just comment below what your thoughts are, if you're liking the videos, what you want to see next, any comments on the content as well. I always like to hear information on the units and the training that they're going through. But let's get into it.
For 2 weeks, these men are putting themselves through the toughest selection in the Singapore Armed Forces, the Joint Special Forces Selection. Passing it will give them a small foot in the door to continue their journey into the Special Forces Qualification Course before they become a Special Operations Task Force or SOTF trooper.
The intensity hit us a lot harder. The evolutions are more back-to-back. We're being faced with a lot more physical challenge before and after each evolution. It really pushes us much further.
At the end of the week, how many will be left standing to continue this journey? Another day, another set of evolutions that will determine who stays and who goes. Into their second week of selection, the tests become more grueling and unpredictable.
Look how they've got them moving once again, putting them under pressure and pre-fatiguing them before they even get to any evolution. Sort of bear crawling in full kit, and you've got their sort of drill weapons there as well. All about pre-fatiguing them, okay? They want to put you under pressure.
The candidate numbers have dwindled to less than half.
So less than half in the first week, over 50% have dropped out. Pretty normal on these types of selections and these types of courses. A standard one in the regular army, you would nowhere near get anything like that. But when it comes to sort of special forces, special operations, you definitely get a high dropout. Once one goes, more start going. They just don't want to be that first person.
And the most difficult part of these tests?
The most difficult part? The warm-up.
Some of them ain't doing that properly there, are they? Full extension.
Today the candidates will go through a trial that will test their ability to adapt to a different environment.
Today is the water and height confidence test. Basically what we want to see is that the trainees are confident in water and that they are able to overcome their fears. It's just a baseline for us to gauge like how confident they are in water and in uncomfortable situations.
They also want to see how we react to word of commands, okay? So when they say go, you're going to go. So whether you have to jump off a boat, whether you have to parachute in, whether you have to run out of a door when there's bullets flying around, when they say the word of command go, or whatever word they use here, they want to know that you go straight away, that there's no hesitation.
An SOTF trooper has to be able to traverse comfortably in any environment, on land, in the air, and in water. As part of the test, the soldiers will need to swim almost non-stop for several laps, carrying a heavy load. This may be a walk in the park for a naval diver, but still, the constant back-to-back tests of varying degree and intensity will see if these soldiers can ace this test. Failing this means elimination from the selection, and the candidates know it.
Actually, before I came for selection, today's evolution was the one I was most afraid of, because when I was training for this whole selection, swimming was my weakest.
That would mostly be my weakest.
So my morale is high, I'm going to push through.
This evolution particularly is quite unique. It doesn't matter whether you're such a strong swimmer, you need to be able to navigate your equipment well, be confident underwater, be able to not panic and keep calm.
That's the biggest one, isn't it? When people get into water, they just panic. They like just start flapping around, they start breathing heavy, hyperventilating. It's all about slow that breathing down, calm yourself down, because if you panic in water, you're in the shit.
The little rest in between the swims and the intensity of the test takes a toll on some.
You just don't want to see them quitting. You just want them to suck it up and just pull through.
The combat swim was something that I couldn't clear until the last day of my prep. So today is the first time I actually cleared the swim. It feels good, but still, my heart is still beating fast.
I found myself struggling during the combat swim, and I could see there was really quite a distance to go. However, I knew that I had to complete this as a veto evolution, so I really had to push myself to finish.
Sort of push you off anyway. You don't get a chance.
Passing this evolution was a big step for me. I'm very glad to have completed it. Underwater confidence is a significant challenge, so I feel like having passed this, I'm going into the next evolutions confident.
So I know that a lot of people, when I was looking at SBS Special Boat Service, I was speaking to a couple of people down there in Poole, and there was a lot of people, especially obviously from the army side, because you get a lot of Marines going, that were failing because of the swim test. And it's most probably one thing you don't really want to fail on out of everything that's down there. Yeah, I'm not saying it's easy, but you've got you've got to do the briefing course and then the pre-selection. You're going to get beasted around the hills, along the coast down the sort of Bournemouth, Lulworth sort of area. You don't really want to be failing on the swim side because you're getting thrashed every day. Mental pressure, physical stress, other tests. And obviously swimming is hard, but it's just, I wouldn't say it's one thing you really want to fail on. So it would be my weakest. So I knew when I was looking to go for it, I was constantly smashing my swimming. And I think that's what you really need to do, because that one day where you just do those swimming tests, you don't really want to fail on that. If you're doing the hills constantly and your navving fails a bit, or you get really fatigued, then maybe, or you fail on mental attitude, etc., discipline, or they just don't think your personality fits, then yeah, you can't do anything about that. But I think just swimming is one you don't really want to fail on. But I know when it comes to SBS, quite a few of the army guys did. I don't know if they still do, whether they've got better at that. Sirens going again.
As another day and another test end, the candidates know that the selection is going to get tougher, but they're prepared.
I think we're going through one evolution at a time. After every evolution is just one down and one less evolution.
What is that badge he's got then? Is he a diver? Looks like, yeah, he's a naval diver, isn't he?
The competition and just pushing on to the end.
That's like a really good way to do it, is one evolution at a time. So same whether it's you're in basic training, first initial training of military, Marine Corps, Navy, RAF, Army, whatever it is you're looking to join. You're on a course, just do it one day at a time. Who cares what's in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks? You got an exercise coming up, you got a physical test. Just don't care, don't worry about it. What's happening today? Okay, let's get through today, get yourself in bed. Wake up tomorrow, they're going to tell you what's happening, or they might tell you the night before. Okay, that's the next goal. Let's just worry about that. You don't need to worry. So many people are like, oh, we've got this coming up. It's so bad. I've heard so many things about it. And then they get there. A lot of time, it's not as bad as what they think. Just worry about the now. Worry about the today. If you can wake up in the morning, and then if you can get yourself in bed that night and you're still there, you're winning. Don't worry about the next day. And like I said with the swimming, just hammer your swimming. So many people struggle on swimming when it comes to the military. Really hammer your swimming and practice, and you'll be totally fine. Right, don't let that one thing, don't fail on swimming when you're getting thrashed every day. You've got NavXs, you've got orienteering, you've got running around, you've got weapon handling. Like, just make sure your swimming's sorted so you can concentrate on the rest, because normally swimming's not too involved, obviously, unless you're joining like the special boat service, but that's more the divers at the end. The actual selection is the same as 2-2 SAS. So you have your standard sort of swim test, and then the rest you want to worry about the rest. You don't really want to worry about your swimming. So make sure you concentrate on that, and make sure every day take it as it comes. But hopefully you're enjoying these episodes. I really want to see sort of the badges a little bit more. I have been watching it in the 3 episodes. You've got different wings there. You've got the naval diver. I'd love to see these badges. I might pause them in the next episode. I'd love to get some sent out to me if you can. Give us a message on Instagram if you can get some badges out sent to me. I really want to start collecting them. I'm going to get a PO box set up at some point so you can all start sending me badges. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Hey team, how's it going? Welcome back to a new video, and welcome back to episode 4 of Singapore Armed Forces Special Forces Selection Uncommon Grit. It ain't heavy, it's my baby. The previous episode's been absolutely brilliant. The Singapore Armed Forces Administration, as soon as sort of like a candidate, a recruit turns up, is just second to none. They've got everything dialed down so it all runs smoothly, and they're really pushing these guys physically and mentally. So I'm really looking forward to episode 4. So go and check out the Singapore Armed Forces channel. The original video is always in the description, so you can give them a like, share and a follow. And if you could do the same to us, I would hugely appreciate it. And as always, please comment below with what your thoughts are and what you want to see next. I'm always interested to hear what you've got to say. But let's get into it.
Hurry up. Hurry up.
It's coming to the end of 2 weeks of rigorous tests for these men who are vying for a spot in the SAF's Elite Special Operations Task Force, or SOTF. However, this is just the first step towards becoming an SOTF trooper. From 120 candidates, the hopefuls are now down to just above 40. Those who didn't make the cut are disappointed, but they've learned valuable lessons on friendship, resilience, and perseverance.
I'm a bit disappointed. Before I even signed on, I already wanted to try and push myself to see how much can I go, how much can I endure. I think I still have much more to improve on, so I'll go back and work on my weaknesses and try again. What's important is we really try our best and there's no regret. pretty disappointed. Also at the same time motivated to train harder to be able to achieve the expectations. Just looking at my peers beside me, they didn't give up, so I shouldn't.
I learned that being in SF is not an easy thing and you have to be mentally and physically ready for it. I learned the camaraderie that we have between each other among the ranks to work as a team. I will never take it as a chance wasted. I will take it as a process, an experience and a privilege to be here training with my fellow mates and with the instructors. I will definitely be back stronger. Yeah.
That's such a great point. Yes, you're going to be gutted that you didn't make it, but if you can walk away, even if you have failed, you've been turned away, and you've got no regrets, you know you gave it 100%, you gave it your all, but you just weren't good enough this time, then you can still walk away with your head held high. If they cut you and you go, actually, I could have pushed them more, then yeah, you're going to regret it. But these guys, they've given it their all. They just haven't made the cut. They didn't come well prepared, or they just didn't fit this time round. So they're going to come back. So the mentality these guys have is absolutely brilliant.
As it gets closer to the end of the selection, the tests and evolutions, as they are called, become increasingly physical and mentally demanding.
As you can see, you never want to put your weapon on a dirty ground, so they're putting them on top of their hands. You always, if you stop, I always, if I have your weapon slung, I'll put my weapon on my feet.
The rest times are shorter and far in between. It starts to become a mental game, and it's already taking a toll on the few who are still standing.
I give you 10 seconds. So right, now.
The selection must be tough because our operations are tough. Criteria must be stringent because when these soldiers start the Special Forces qualification course, we expect them to already possess a certain level of competency.
More surprises await these men as they prepare for their next test. But before that, another warm-up session is administered in dark of night, further disrupting the candidate's natural body clock.
Week 2 is a bit of mental game with the candidates. It's usually a culture shock for them. What we're looking out for in the candidates are actually survivability and adaptability.
Move light. In your position, get to your sandbags. Suffer in silence. I still don't think it's the best.
This week has been tough for us, and the first 2 days is back-to-back evolution. All of us are having very bad aches and blisters everywhere.
See, there is a head torch on. Always have a head torch in your kit, and I always used to have batteries taped to the sides. So if the batteries ever went, I had tap batteries to hand to put in them.
One part of me is just like blank and like not thinking anymore, but the other part is also hoping to look forward to the sunrise. I hope that will be the sign that we have finished our evolution.
As part of a mission, an SOTF trooper must be able to carry a range of equipment and walk long distances to his objective, and the next test simulates that, with a heavy sandbag.
This evolution is called the Sand Baby. We have
Good
to carry
name.
a sandbag with us and we cannot put it down at all times. It's like a baby to us. We have to walk up the slope and report that we have reached and then come down. Just keep continuing the sequence.
I wonder how long they continue this for.
Enough, but it's no ordinary task. Walking almost non-stop when you're dog-tired on an incline for several kilometers, that's a whole new level these men need to conquer.
So what you've got with this, you've got, yes, the sandbag is heavy. That is obviously like an obvious issue, but they're also awkward to carry. When your shoulder starts hurting, the sand starts moving, your grip starts going. They're just really awkward to carry when it comes to sandbags. Yeah, you can have it on your shoulder, but they still are quite awkward. So that's one of the main issues they're actually going to have with this. And then once again, as we saw, pre-fatigued, so warm ups, constantly getting sort of beasted, as we call it. so they're pre-fatigued then. And then once again, they've woken up at God knows what time in the night, so they're sleep debt provided for the last 2 weeks. So there's a whole host of sort of issues that they've got to overcome to complete this.
At this moment, I think everyone should aim for the ending point. We don't know how far is it, but we can keep going. As long as we don't drop, we can keep ourselves moving. Try not to think anything negative. Whatever it comes, we just take it.
As night turns to dawn, there is no sign of the test abating.
I can't feel my legs anymore, but the momentum or left right keeps me going.
That's it, in your head, just tell yourself, keep walking.
Family, it keeps me motivated. Yes.
Oh, nice.
As these soldiers cool their bodies, it signals the end of yet another punishing test. However, there's a foreboding sense of relief.
After I completed it, I feel that it's worth it. I will do whatever it takes to finish everything.
I've really come so far, and so far all the evolutions that I did, I felt it was really very tiring. It'd be very waste if I just let it all go and like just give up at this moment, because it's towards the end already, so I feel I will do my best to persevere on to finish this through.
So another very, very tough test. Once again, Singapore administration on point. Everyone had a head torch on. They all had Silooms as well, because obviously they're doing it at night. There could be other people moving through, or it's just obviously they want to see everyone. We don't want anyone getting lost, falling over, getting injured, or anyone bumping into each other. So, you know, safety. There's no point trying to do this tactically. They're on camp. It's not a tactical test. The ice at the end to cool them down. I've never been to Singapore, but as far as I'm aware, it's hot and it's also quite humid. So one, you're obviously going to start overheating, and two, you're going to lose a lot of sweat. So they've got that issue. So the ice at the end, you know, just dip your arms in. If you run your sort of wrists under cold water, it's a great way of cooling you down. So if you put your arms in like ice water, it's going to help with a bit of inflammation, but it's also going to cool your body down and stop you from overheating. They all made sure that they had water on them and they were constantly sipping them. So if you're ever doing a task like this, you're going on a course or whatever it is, every time you go and start something new, make sure your water bottle is filled up to the brim. Because the last thing you want to do is go down with some sort of heat injury. But make sure you're taking on food, salts, because obviously you're going to be sweating loads. So they've obviously got that issue as well. So I'm sure they're making sure they're eating very well, because if you lose a lot of salts, you're then going to start cramping up and you can still go down with heat. You can sort of drink too much water and flush it all out of your system, which then causes another issue. And then, like I said, with the sandbag, they can't pull it down at all. So your shoulders start hurting, your grip starts going. They can just be awkward to carry at times, especially if you start shuffling it around a lot, the sand starts moving. So it's not just the weight, like if you had a Bergen. If you had a Bergen on your shoulders, yeah, both your shoulders are going to hurt, but it's just there. You can just keep walking. With the sandbag, it's just awkward. It's just an awkward thing to carry. It's awkward to lift up. It's awkward to have on your shoulder. And you just got to keep going back and forward. And once again, like, these guys are really good at it. It's like they have the small goals. Like, they don't think about anything else. He's like, I just need to keep walking. Just keep telling myself left, right, left. It's going to end at some point. Don't worry about what's coming after, what's happening next, what's happening tomorrow. Just concentrate on this task. It's going to finish at some point. So now it hurts. Just keep going and just keep telling yourself left, right, left. I think the Singapore Armed Forces are very efficient, they're very professional, and they're very disciplined, but they're also highly motivated from what I've seen. They've all volunteered to be there, but they all seem to dig in really well from what they're showing on here. So yeah, it's really impressed with the Singapore Armed Forces, and I've really enjoyed this series so far, and I hope you have too. So we'll move on to episode 5 after this. So thanks for watching. Cheers. Hello team, how's it going? Welcome back to a new video and welcome back to episode 5 of the Uncommon Grit 1 foot in the door. Okay, it's about Singapore Special Forces. It's been a brilliant series so far, and by looking at the views and the comments, it looks like everyone is really enjoying it just as much as I am. As always, go and check out the original video in the description. Give them a like, share and a follow. And if you could do the same to combatreadyhq, I would hugely appreciate it. And you can head over to our website and you can support the channel a little bit more by ordering some coffee. We do some of the best tasting coffee out there with some really high caffeine content as well if you want it. Or we've got the Op Decaf if you prefer no caffeine. You can check out our merch and you can check out some of the best supplements on the market over at Combat Fuel, which are 100% military safe. But let's get into the video. I'm looking forward to this one.
The 2-week Joint Special Forces selection is coming to an end. These men have braced themselves and gone through a series of back-to-back tests that has pushed their mental and physical endurance to their limits. All this for an opportunity to continue their journey in the Special Forces qualification course and ultimately enter the hallowed ranks of the Special Operations Task Force or SOTF.
The reason why someone want to try, one is they want to be part of this unit that is working for a larger purpose. Second, I think they want to prove something to themselves.
With just 24 hours remaining, will the last few make the cut?
I love that little badge there. I think quite similar to 22 SAS Special Air Service of the UK Special Forces. But I think it's a really cool sort of emblem for the Special Forces over on the Singapore Armed Forces.
Air of caution. We know that this final obstacle, we cannot afford to throw away the efforts that we've put in the last few days and weeks.
What's that badge there? It looks like an assault rifle.
I'm trying to put away any sense of anxiety.
As of right now, we're just trying to stick together, trying to work together as a whole course because we would like to see the remaining of us pass out together.
Once again, proving it's not an individual thing, it's a team effort. They want to see that you can work well in a team. So you're supporting each other to pass. It's not just about yourself, even though you want yourself to pass. It's a team effort. You work in small teams and you've got to be able to work in a team.
By now, the sounds of the siren has become all too familiar to jolt their senses into action. However, today's turnout is different from the days before. The instructors will push the men further to see how far the candidates are willing to go to secure a spot in the special fraternity.
On a personal note, it would be a huge achievement in my life. It's something that I tried to see myself doing for a long time. I feel like it would be a great affirmation of my potential.
But to realize this, these men have to first survive the next few hours. The instructors also keep an eagle eye for potential candidates to enter the next phase of training.
Yeah, you think this is just the selection, the arduous mini selection, a bit like the briefing course for the UKSF to get onto the actual main course to see if you've actually got it there and pass the skills and drills. So this is a grueling 2 weeks just to see if you've really got what it takes to actually go onto the course and become a Special Forces soldier. You know, at the end of this, they're not Special Forces. This is just a pure selection to see if they can then go onto the course. It's hard work getting into any sort of Special Forces around the world.
They're put to the test many times, and many of these actually bring forth their best and their worst characteristics.
We are looking out for candidates who can adapt quickly and then make the best out of the situation and survive in it.
As day turns to night, the tests become more intense.
Anybody wants to DOR? Go, instructor!
The candidates are given multitasks, from physical exercises to written tests, to see if they are able to make sense of information under challenging conditions.
Can you work while you're tired? Can you work while you're sleep deprived, food deprived, when you're pre-fatigued, doing warm-ups? Can you work in all sorts of situations? But they want to know, can you work under pressure when you've got a lot going on in your mind and you're tired?
You want to be in the course? Yes, instructor. Sure? Yes, instructor. Are you very sure? Yes, instructor. Can you achieve about 15 seconds? Everything. You're so slow!
At some points, they need to step up to lead the teams to achieve certain objectives within a short period of time.
We need the candidate to be a team player and a leader at the same time. So at certain times, we need all candidates to be team players, but at certain times, we need candidates to step forward and lead the whole class when it's all chaotic.
This is relevant to how SOTF operate, in that every individual is a team player, everyone is a leader in his own right.
Too right. It should be throughout the regular army really, but UK, special forces are more on it.
Anybody's temperature was above 37.5. Yes, instructor.
It's mad how they check your temperature before stuff.
Significantly high temperature during the routine check, and initially I was very worried. This could have been the end of it for me.
Yes, sir, good. Water.
Do you know what this shows as well? Is that they don't actually want you to fail. Like, this guy's got a high temperature. He's obviously working hard. His body's a bit above what it normally is. It's struggling. And they're giving him water, and they're giving the opportunity to get that temperature down to recover, so he can go into the tests as fit and as best as hopefully as possible, and without having to cause any major injury. They actually care about the soldiers, and they actually want them to pass, which sometimes you don't really see. It's just how far can we push them? The most mental resilient, most fittest will pass. As these actually want to look after them and nurture them through it, because they see potential in all of them. That's why they've made it this far. Really good.
After drinking, hydrating, cooling myself as much as possible, I was finally able to bring my temperature down and relievingly continue with the evolution.
You just got to make sure you don't flush out any salts though when you're drinking too much water. You've got to be really careful.
The instructors crank up the intensity of the tests a notch. Deprived of sleep for more than 48 hours, with back-breaking list of tasks to complete, these men have almost no sense of time or space.
Look at the humidity out there. Look how much they're sweating.
Put pain aside and start working together as a cohesive team.
It's more towards teamwork. You work faster, your bonding is there. Then you will feel less pain, the sweat becomes sweeter.
I just kept telling myself, press on, it will eventually come to an end. And on top of that, when I'm suffering, everyone else is suffering as well, so there's no reason for me to give up.
If you are under pressure, you have to keep your mind clear. No matter how many people shout at you, how many harassment or lack of sleep, as long as your mind is clear, nothing stops you.
This signals the end of the selection.
We declare selection to be over. That's it.
What a relief that is for them. That's it. It's over. No massive praise. Right, see you later. What a feeling for these guys.
There is no pep talk or a pat on the back for these 30 who make it to the next phase of training, the Special Forces Qualification Course. But only a cautionary advice from one of the instructors.
Some of you will be selected. Some of you will not. Those are the results. Okay? About 30% of the field is. Okay?
I'm just glad that we finished it together. We actually pulled through from 120 to 30. So I think that's something to be proud of at this point.
Too right.
Hopefully we're finally done. Because the uncertainty of getting turned out is still there. Hopefully it's really the end, and it really feels incredible to be able to finish this 2-week selection, and it's really one of the best feelings that I have in my life.
For me, there's a monumental sense of relief having finished this first stage. Having completed it, there's a sense of achievement and fulfillment.
Absolutely brilliant series. Hopefully you lot have enjoyed that just as much of me. And that ending there really signals and sort of puts out there what Special Forces is like. Never been in Special Forces in my life. I did 16 years in the regular army, in the British Army. But had mates in Special Forces, had mates who attempted selection, blah, blah, here, there. Right? And they all say the same. And you hear them like Jason Fox, Billy Billingham, Ant Middleton. There's no like, thank you. There's no like, how are you doing? It's, you know, you complete that day. That's it. Right. Today's over. This is what we're doing tomorrow. I'll be here this time. Look forward to tomorrow. That's it. You're on a run. There's no encouragement. You're on a tab. There's no encouragement. And then you just go, I want to quit. They're like, all right, then, cool. See you later. There's no like, oh, are you sure? Let's stick with it. Let's stay in it. There's no pat on the back, because they need people who can motivate themselves, who can get themselves going, who can, when the time is going, when time's going tough, when the tough times are going, you can get yourself going, right? You can motivate yourself. When it's really the shit has hit the fan, it's cold, it's wet, you're getting shot at, blowing up, whatever, the operation you've planned has completely gone tits up. You can still focus and go, right, do you know what? Whatever, I've made a mistake, they've made a mistake, whatever's happened, I can keep going. They don't want people who need constant reassurance, because you're not going to get that when you're out on ops, okay, whether you're on your own in a small team. So they need people who can succeed and do well without that pat on the back. So that Special Force selection, well done, it's over. Look forward to the next phase. That's it. You know, and you high five each other, your mates and everything, obviously congratulate everyone, but from your instructors you don't know anything. There isn't, you've done well, you've done this, whatever. It's, well, move on to the next phase. Oh, by the way, 30% of you aren't going to make it. Okay, and that's what you've got to be prepared for when it comes to Special Forces, or you're going for any sort of elite unit, parachute regiment in the British Army, Royal Marine Commandos. You know, you need to be able to get yourself through the course. No one's going to get you through it. You need to be able to motivate yourself, and that's one thing you've got to take away from this. But absolutely brilliant series. The Singapore Armed Forces, they are hot on admin. They're all over it. They're all over looking after their blokes. The kit and equipment looked really good. Loved some of the patches. Absolutely brilliant. And the way they get people bonding, working together. I think the Singapore Armed Forces, from what I've seen in this, and I've started another series over on my Patreon that's exclusive to that, very, very disciplined, very professional, and seemed like a very good sort of armed forces. So hopefully you've enjoyed this series as much as I have, and you've enjoyed my sort of review, my reaction, my commentary to it. You've taken away something from it, which would be absolutely brilliant if you have. So thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you.